A room with a view of the whole city. Fashion luxury, that's what he's got pretty.
So, I had an interesting experience during my first attempt with Eurowings. The motto is, yes, never ever Eurowings. But the first time I flew on Eurowings' shortest route from Hamburg to Cologne, I noticed, I have to say that the airline itself isn't that bad. That means the service is pretty good, the staff are pleasant, but the quality of the food is just very cheap. And you are well served from the site if you rely on a few. Gummy bears and maybe something to drink are fine, but the food itself, those sandwiches, that's really quite difficult. So I said, okay, to really be able to make a proper report, I absolutely need to take 2 flights to understand how it all works. So I planned a longer flight from Vienna to Hamburg. And it was also said that hot meals would only be served on longer flights. So I thought, okay, if they had the excuse on the first flight, this and that, and if we don't have that, then everything should surely be available on a longer flight. And here lies the problem with this. How should I put it now then? For me, Eurowings is comparable to a sort of Talahon airline because there's never really anything available. And they always have an excuse for why this isn't available and that isn't available because they didn't do this and they didn't do that. So I would say, for me, it's actually not about never ever Eurowings anymore, but just Eurowings, the Talahon airline, because that really fits into this cliche image. What was first invented as a youth word? And that's why I have to say, as the Hon, I traveled with an airline that I now refer to as the Talahon airline, namely Eurowings. And, of course, this is meant to be a bit satirical, so that, you can look at the whole thing from the side. On the flight from Vienna, I discovered that the check-in area only opens 2 hours before departure. But if you find this check-in terminal, you can then, with luck, have your ticket printed out there because it is not possible beforehand. But then, and this is a positive thing, with this, if you're flying in BIZ class, you can then also go to a business lounge, i.e. to the Vienna lounge at Vienna Airport. That's definitely a monetary benefit that's included in the price. And that later, when it comes to the check-in process, I can also check in at the same terminal, like for example, Terminal C, which is Terminal 1, so I don't have to walk long distances, and I also have access to the fast lane there. Then I have to say, flying from Vienna is really quite all right. And also the service on board. As for the ladies and gentlemen of the cabin crew, they were actually a sight to behold. Because first of all, I still think that the visual appearance of these employees is just great. The women look absolutely amazing. They wear this uniform, they are present, and above all, their entire appearance is always somewhat youthful, fresh, and dynamic. And that applies just as much to the men. And that's why I have to say, the service on board is really a complete difference compared to Lufthansa and actually brings me more joy right now than flying with the other airline. Not as good as the counting airlines because the staff there are still extra competent. But I have to say, this experience with Eurowings has also brought me joy on this second flight. The only thing, and that's the real problem with Eurowings at the moment, not the seats. It's not the cleanliness, because they don't clean the airplanes at all anymore. Not even with other airlines. It's not the employees who are really friendly and also look good. It's not the issue that, for example, the roll doesn't taste good. It's all relative. Some like it, others don't. So I would say the quality of the food isn't great, but it's edible. And you can also choose between chips and cola and vodka and champagne. It's a diverse array of bits, of course, so you can feel comfortable there. But the problem is, I really wanted to eat fries in the air. They didn't have that on board again. Then I asked if they maybe had this warm dish or that warm dish. No, they didn't have any of that. So the problem with Eurowings is that they don't have the products they offer on board. And that's why I say any airline operating in today's world that is so poorly organized that certain products are always missing. And then I told the employee from Eurowings, you often hear that something is missing with you. Yes, that happens more often, but we do have a certain selection. Just take something else. So they have made it so obvious that I come to the conclusion and say Eurowings, is the airline you can actually fly with, but they never have everything available. And for me, Talahon airline in Germany is, so I would say 50-50, right? So thumbs up and thumbs down